guys, thanks very much for joining me tonight. And we're trying something new tonight. Normally, I would make a few produced videos, put them out live, talking about various news articles that have come up within the home arcade market in the UK, or we would do a few live streams on various games, let's plays, things like that. And they've always been fun. And but I've always wanted to like sit down with you guys and sort of chat about a common subject. So I thought tonight would be a good wee night to try things. So we've got a few people in the chat. I'd love for you guys to sort of chime in on what we're talking about. You know, it makes it a bit more. It certainly makes it more interactive. Makes it more of a conversation rather than me just, you know, talking away. And I could be talking the biggest, pile of nonsense. You might not agree with me. That's where I would really want to sort of interact with you guys and see how things are feeling. So I've got a few topics in mind, but we may not stick to them all. If you guys have suggestions or feelings you want to go down with, we can certainly switch topics, maybe spend more time on one than another. Perfectly fine. I'm absolutely happy with that. So the ones that I really wanted to look at today, and it'll all sort of revolve around the UK market, I guess, in some way, although I do want to speak about the Arcade 1-Up leaks that came out during the week. I've just realised I was meant to have a little bit of background music going there, and I've totally forgotten. See, this is it. I'm rusty. There we go, that's a wee bit better. Haven't done this in a while, so it's some of it was coming back to me. Some of it's still locked in there somewhere. But yes, wanted to look at the Arcade 1-Up leaks that have come out during the week. Wanted to talk about the iiRcade. If anyone's not familiar, we can go through a bit of the history and details on that machine. And then I wanted to touch on the Arcade 1-Up Junior range, because I thought it was going to be a big seller, and it's not. And I want to sort of explore that, because I have feelings as to why it's not a success. So we'll have a little chat on that one and see how things go. Let me know how everything is on the stream. I'm hoping everything is good, although I am just looking at my bitrate, and we are dropping a little bit. I did kill off a few things there, but I'll do a bit more just in case Steam or whatever has decided it wants to start doing loading updates. Hopefully it won't cause us too many issues. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is the iiRcade. For anyone who's not familiar with that, we'll jump in and we'll have a little explore of the product. So this is her here. Now, they describe themselves as an arcade console. What they kind of mean by that is they position themselves differently in the market than any of the other competitors out there. So you have ones like Arcade 1-Up, which sells, big things like this, Turtles, Mortal Kombat, machines that hold about 10 games at the moment. That seems to be where they're sort of sitting at. We have Games, which, various different bits of hardware that hold. Well, Games actually holds quite a lot of games, to be perfectly fair with them. What iiRcade is doing is they are selling the hardware quite cheap, because they don't see themselves as making the money through the hardware. They are positioning themselves as making money through an online store, a bit like Steam almost. So you get your iiRcade, and then you buy games to put on it. Now the iiRcade does come with 11 games on it. There's a couple of decent ones, but most are, I would say, filler ones, or ones that you've never really heard of or would have ignored if you saw them in the arcade. But the store at the moment has some absolutely cracker ones, and they just keep adding to it. It's been fantastic. So this is the sort of the bump of the iiRcade. Now, they do have a different design. This is sort of their first generation, which kind of looks like one of the Naomi kind of Universal machines, or what would be described as a candy arcade. Very popular in Japan and things like that, but very generic looking, not like the ones the machines that we would have over here and in the US, where they're immediately identifiable by the side art or the marquee or things like that. The candy arcades all look the same, and from a side-on glance, it was very difficult to tell, what you're looking at. But that was the thing out there. Anyway, if we go on to their store, like they only have two of their machines. Like they used to have a load of different designs, like Double Dragon, Beach Buggy Boy, and things like that. Now they're only down to Retromania Wrestling, which looks fantastic. The artwork on that is brilliant, and Dragon's Lair, which is really cool as well. Actually, these are the bigger ones, the 128 gig hard drive on it, and the proper Sanwa controls, or at least joystick anyway. But all very, very cool. The only problem is they don't ship to the UK, and I have been bugging them for quite some time. I mean, I'm probably on them at least once or twice a month, just putting things out there. Any chance you coming over to the UK, any chance that you'll be hooking up with any retailers, keep me posted. I don't know how many different email addresses I've given them at this stage, because every time they say no, they'll go, yeah, but we'll add you to a waiting list, give us your email address. So yeah, I'm sure they're going to get sick of hearing from me, but I really want to put it out there. If anyone is sort of interested in this kind of machine after we've talked about this, reach out to them through their little chat down here. Just ask, when's it coming to the UK, that kind of thing. The more that they can see that they have a market over here, the quicker it's going to be for them to make moves and get over. So wet my whistle. So going down, the machine itself is really cool. Now this is I focused on Retromania Wrestling because that would be the one I would certainly pick up. Dragon's Lair, it's really, really cool. I do like it. It's one of those games that I remember playing in the arcade, and I just was not very good on it. It's just a spiritual successor to WrestleFest, the old WWE or WWF at the time arcade game, and it's absolutely cracker to see. You do have some old school wrestlers, like the Legion of Doom is in here. You've got the Blue Meanie, as you can see down here, Tommy Dreamer, we've got John Morrison, or I think he's Johnny Retro in this, which is really, really cool. And they added a wrestler pack not too long ago, although I can't really remember who's in it in the pack. But look at that. That's just so freaking cool. I'd love to get my hands on. You can get the game on Steam. It's slightly different on Steam and Switch like that. It's much more zoomed out. The version that they built for the iiRcade is specifically designed for them. It's more of an arcade feel, the way WrestleFest used to play, which is just absolutely fantastic. But like I say, they position themselves not really as a seller of hardware, because they've been selling these things if we go back, where are we? Sorry, it's just down at the bottom here. So $5.99 was $8.19, so $600. Call it between £400 and £450, which is not bad. Slightly more expensive than what Arcade 1-Up is doing. But before Christmas there, they had another £200 off, so they were selling this thing for about $3.99, which was really incredible. loads of people, picked it up at that stage, which is completely fair. I just wish that they would bring this thing over here. Now, I don't think that we'll get the same sales that the Americans do. It's always a bugbear with me that I'm on various subreddits and things like that, and I get bombarded when sales go online in the States. There's the Simpsons one that don't know if it was a legitimate one or not. Someone managed to pick up a Simpsons cabinet for $199, which is absolutely incredible. If that worked, well done. But I know Simpsons is on sale at the moment for about $399 in Walmart. We never see anything like that. The most we get is about 50 quid off when Smiths are overstocked on things. Other than that, I haven't seen these things go on like a proper sale. Not that not in the same way that the Americans and the Canadians get. But like I say, they position themselves to sell software, and this is where they're going to win out over the likes of Arcade 1-Up and AtGames, because once that you've picked up the hardware, you're in their ecosystem, and it's so easy to grab a game that you want. There's the new Toe Jam and Earl. Playing that on an arcade machine, that would be absolutely brilliant. You've got your beat 'em ups. You've got your puzzlers. We've got Toe Jam and Earl. We've got little platformers. Oddmar is a really cool little game. The side-scrolling shooters. This one here, Montezuma's Revenge, I saw a little bit of the other day, and bear with me 1 second. I can sort of show you little bits and pieces of some of the games as we go through here. So this is Montezuma's Revenge. However, it's like a little an old Atari game, but at a push of a button, it can like update the graphics. Let me see if I can just skip her forward a little bit here so we can see. Yeah, so if I jump to about here, very much like the way the Master Chief Edition did for Halo. At a touch of a button, we go to the newer updated graphics mid-play, and it looks fantastic. A great little puzzle platformer, very reminiscent of things like Monty on the Run, if you're sort of familiar with those kind of games. And look at that, $3. You'd pick that up in a heartbeat. Toe Jam and Earl, some of the bigger ones, yeah, of course, you're paying a wee bit more, but $15, same as you would pay maybe on the likes of Steam and things like that. You've got Truxton down here, like a vertical shooter. Space Ace, Mayhem Brawler is a brilliant one, kind of like a Streets of Rage. Everyone's been crying out to get like Streets of Rage 4 put onto this machine, because it would just be absolutely incredible to play a proper side-scrolling beat-em up, or modern side-scrolling beat-em up on the iiRcade, and this is as close as we've got to it so far. Going back to talking about the hardware for a second, the iiRcade has the most powerful processor and memory capacity compared to any of the other commercial machines out there. It is capable of playing a lot of very, very modern games. Like this Mayhem Brawler only came out for Steam a couple of months ago, and you can see graphically it's far superior to anything that you would have seen on some of the other arcade offerings, like from AtGames and things like that. They just wouldn't be able to play something like this, and I think it does bring in a different crowd of people as well. So you have your retro games on there. Unfortunately, at the moment, they don't have the likes of Mortal Kombat and things like that. The some of the ones that you would call like the classic ones from like the top 50 arcade games, but they are getting a load of different games in. Like I know Space Invaders is on its way. Like I said, Truxton just got added. We have ones like if you just go down this list, you will find something that will, that satisfy the whatever game you're looking for. And there's some absolutely brilliant gems in here as well. Snow Bros, I love that. That's Snow Bros 2 actually. I never knew they did a sequel. So there you go. There's something you find as well. Round Guard is a really weird little game. It's sort of like Peggle in a way. If anyone's ever played that, this is the kind of idea that you're bouncing your way through, trying to take out the various targets. But there's a story behind it. I guess Peggle had a bit of a story behind it as well, but you know. So the question I sort of posed on this is, would iiRcade, if they came over, have a place in the UK market? Honestly, I think they would have such a brilliant place. Where we sit at the moment, we are fairly drip fed when it comes to the home arcade offerings. It took a long time for Arcade 1-Up to start sending us things over, like the offerings of the legacy machines that we have at the moment. They were out in the States a year before we got our hands on them. The Legends Pinball from At Games, that's only just got to us. That's been out in the States for at least a year. I suppose we're still considered like a virgin territory or a virgin market, that it's untested whether or not people over here will buy this kind of thing. In the States, because of their population density, it's easy to find people that will buy these things. In smaller markets, it's a bigger risk because they have to ship everything out. They've got to find the retailer, develop a relationship with them, and then it's going to cost them, but they have no guarantee on return. So I think this sort of year and a half that they've had with Arcade 1-Up and At Games has shown that there is a market out there. Now whether or not they'll see it as worth the trouble, I don't know. I'm hoping that Arcade 1-Up start to send more stuff over. I'm hoping that At Games will start to send more stuff over to more retailers, and I hope that iiRcade see this and do the same. I think that if it came over, people would buy this. This is there are people that will collect the machines. Certainly I've started a bit of a collection myself, but there are ones out there that would buy one machine, one and done. iiRcade is perfect for that because you get one machine, and then every now and then you spend $3 or $4 and you pick up another game. That's perfect for them. That is their ideal market. Someone that will buy one machine, put it into like a little games room or a man cave, and then just continually grab games the same way that you would on Steam or the Switch e-store, something like that. So I think iiRcade fits better in the UK market than Arcade 1-Up or At Games. So I really hope they see that and they start to ship over the hardware and things like that. I'm sure there is a problem with licensing and things like that over here. I hope it's not a big sticking point, because I would love to see this come out over here, and people just start to pick it up and just have some fun, because it's something I've been following for a while, and I think it would be a great little device for anyone to pick up. I mean, am I wrong? It's like, would anyone out there, if they had the opportunity, would this be something you would pick up? Would the iiRcade be up your alley, or are you more leaning towards Arcade 1-Up At Games with its Legends Ultimate? The thing with the Legends Ultimate is there's been no progress made on that since its release. There's been no new games added to it. This, to me, seems like the way to go. You put out the hardware, and then you just continually put out games. The only problem I could see is if they then wanted to upgrade the hardware. You know, you would have to put out an iiRcade 2 if they wanted to do really, really powerful games. But that's something that would come on down the road, I guess. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. Following on from that, wanted to talk a little bit about uh, the leaks that came out from Arcade One Up during the week there. When was that? Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday. It was sort of mid to late week anyway. And coming out of that, there were some great ones. One that I didn't even twig. I went onto the GameFly website again there to see if it was still showing up. It's they've completely taken them down, which is understandable. But coming off that, there were some great. If these are correct, fantastic, because we had Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We had Time Crisis as the shooter. If that's right, that's incredible. I kind of thought that I know they had said one shooter a year. I guess I'm not entirely sure where they classified Terminator as. I know they announced it at the tail end of last year. I thought this was going to be, well, I suppose depending on when they announced Time Crisis, this could be it falls within the specified timelines that they had. So we had, yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Time Crisis. There was a new product line by the looks of things. Like, they called them Collectorcades, and there's been a few kind of theories as to what these are. Like, people thinking that it's Arcade One Up joining the quarter arcade or the replicade market, which I guess it kind of fits with the name. However, they've already got the countercade. I know it's not really a replicade, but I mean, I don't get why they would do that. If you were going to join the quarter arcade, you need to be perfect at it the way Numbskull is. Like, Numbskull, they put out like one product in a fucking blue moon, but when they do, that thing is perfect. Like Polybus here, or Bubble Bobble, that is, let's call it 98% accurate to the machine that was out in the arcade years ago. I'm talking the artwork. The ROM is arcade. It's the arcade ROM in all of the ones I've looked at. The control schemes are to a T. The, like, if you're trying to take on Numbskull and New Wave Toys, those are two big heavy hitters to go up against. You need to have your stuff together and know that you can bring something new to the table that these two can't. And I don't see what they could bring that hasn't already been done or is already being done better. So we'll have to wait and see what that is. Then we've also got the Couchcade, which we've got the first images from. It just looks a bit silly to me. From what I can see from it, this is them recycling the control decks from the Projectorcade that didn't sell. So it's the same idea. You've got a control deck that you sit in your lap. The receiver, or the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth receiver, however it's being done, then hooks into your TV. Very similar to how the Gamer Pro works, or the Gamer Mini from At Games. So depending on the price, I don't know. I don't think this will sell either. I would say if they're going to be charging more than actually, do you know what? I mean, the Gamer Mini just sold there for $50 with the puck. That's 130 games on that for $50. Hook it into your TV, and away you go. I don't see Arcade One Up being able to top that. I think this is them trying to get rid of their Projector Kid ones, and it's only gonna have a handful of games on it. It's gonna be styled to Pac-Man, or there was another one. I think it was Atari. So call it 10 to 12 games, and they're probably gonna charge about, let's call it, I'm gonna reckon between $200 and $250 they're going to try and sell that for. And at that price, go get a Gamer Pro. That's the end of that. That's the end of that line. It's not going to sell. I'm trying to remember. There was a third big cabinet, and what the heck was it? It came out in the leaks, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, and now I can't remember. We had. I need to have a look. I'm really sorry. Oh my word! Was it? There was Marvel vs. Capcom was it was definitely the big one. That's going to be a day one purchase if it comes over to the UK. Time Crisis, like I said, I'm not overly fussed on that. I would rather it be House of the Dead, but I have an issue with the shooter cabinets, and here's my thinking on this. So, with the legacy cabinets, you go down the route of Midway, Capcom. You can fit, what are they doing? 14 games onto the newer line, onto these ones. The other cabinets that are coming out, you've got a handful of games on it, maybe 4, maybe 5. On the shooter cabinets, I can't see a lineup of games other than Buck Hunter, which they've already done, to put onto one of these cabinets. If we look at Time Crisis, okay, we'll get Time Crisis 1, possibly get 2. I don't know if it's going to be too much of a strain. 3, I don't think is going to be doable on the hardware that they have. Same with House of the Dead. 1, possibly 2. 3 is just is out of the question. What was the other one? Virtua Cop. You've only got Virtua Cop 1 and 2. The only thing I could think of is if they're really sneaky, and because Time Crisis is Namco, if you were to put something like Time Crisis 1 and 2 and Point Blank 1 and 2 onto that machine, that would maybe make it worth the asking price. Because I just don't see these shooter cabinets being worth the money. Like, look at Terminator, that was $700 for one game. Unless that game is a must-have for you, I don't see the reason why you would go out and get that. I would love to see the figures to see how well that sells, that sold. I don't think it would have sold particularly well, and I don't think any of the shooter cabinets really will. Not in the same way that the stand-up cabinets or even the driving cabinets sale. Anyway, it's something that we'll see as things go on. I have totally forgotten what the other cabinet was. I just it's completely just it's lost to me here. I'm trying just really quickly to see what it is, and it's sorry. Sorry about that. I was trying to get it off to where I knew it was. I, uh, it's gone from me. I just cannot remember. If it comes back, I'll circle back and we'll talk about it. But at the moment, I'm just drawing a blank. One thing that does bug me, though, and we'll have a little look here. So look at the arcade one up lineup that they have. Sorry, that the Americans and the Canadians all have. Like Canada has their own sort of issues getting them across the border and things like that. Their deliveries are like sky high if they're buying direct. Golden Tea, yes, we're getting. That's an interesting one. Why did that come over to us so quickly? And if it's a sign of the times, that's really good. However, what about all the other machines that we haven't had a chance to get yet? Because certainly, if this Golden Tea machine means that we're going to get the new legacy machines in a timely manner, yes, I'm all about that. But I don't want to miss out on the other machines that have already been released from Arcade 1-Up that we haven't had a chance to get our hands on, like The Simpsons. Bring it over and put it on for a decent asking price, not the $700 that it initially went up for. I'd pick that up. Killer Instinct. As someone pointed out on a video of mine that I totally forgot about, if that doesn't come over to the UK, that is a travesty. Rare are from the UK. Rare created Killer Instinct in the UK. That needs to come home. And I'll pick it up if it does. I think the Killer Instinct is a great title. The second game even better, and you've got Battletoads. Who doesn't like a bit of Battletoads on there? Ridge Racer, yes. I know I would love a Daytona machine, but I can't see Daytona coming over anytime soon. I reckon we're about 2 to 3 years away from Daytona. I think Ridge Racer is a brilliant one to have. I wasn't too sure I was gonna like the two other games on there, the Ace Driver and Victory Lap, but after seeing a few reviews, it's won me over. I think that those two games are great. The two Ridge Racers are obviously really cool, and then you've got Rave Racer as well. So there's like 5 games on there, and I'm trying to remember the price of it. It wasn't madness from what I remember. Oh no, it was $700. That's a big asking price. Balls. For some reason, I thought it was lower than the Terminator machine. That's too high. I wouldn't pick it up for $700. No. It's hard to judge, when they're going to come over to us, what the prices is going to be. Like at the moment, all of ours are $350, and some of them drop down to $300 every now and then. But would I pay more than $400 for that machine? Nope, I don't think I would. I wouldn't pay more than $400 for any of them. I think that is my line in the sand at the moment. And obviously prices are going to go up There's no stopping that. But no, not unless you offer me something really really cool. And the online leaderboards, it just isn't enough. I like it, but no, not over 400. Here's the new lineup of the countercades. There's Marvel superheroes, the two-player turtles. So they're really cool, but I haven't seen. There's only one countercade that I know of that exists within the UK, and that's the Super Pac-Man one. Any of these other ones, they just haven't materialized over here. That little Pong machine was meant to be very very cool. Here we have the Arcade Juniors. We've got the head-to-head tables, which again we've only seen one of. Outrun, that's been out for quite some time now. There's been no sniff of it coming over to the UK, but honestly, I'm okay if we missed that one and went straight to Ridge Racer, because Ridge Racer is the one I want. But look at all these other games that we just haven't seen. Big Blue, people would pick that one up in a heartbeat. Marvel superheroes, with the announcement of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. If honestly, it's not an announcement, but if it is, people aren't going to pick that up, knowing that there's the rumor out there that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is on its way. So I mean, the pinball tables, they are over here and they're way overpriced. You're talking £900 for one of these. They're 24-inch virtual pinball machines with 10 tables on them. For £900 you can get the At Games one, which has pretty much an unlimited amount of tables on it. Like there's 150 ones that you can buy through the At Games store, and then it hooks into a PC and you can run Pinball FX, virtual pinball, things like that all through it. So why would you pay £900 for 10 tables? Yes, it can be hacked and things like that, but why would you waste your time doing that when you could get a much better product from At Games? I think that when they came over, whoever marked that price as £900 was absolutely insane. That was absolutely stupid. Big Buck Hunter, it's over here, but I'm not really that interested in it. This one's quite interesting, and someone was talking to about this, the Golden Axe one. Yes, I would definitely pick that one up as well. The Star Wars one, someone was talking about that the other day, and I think they made quite an interesting point, and it was they're sort of re-releasing older cabinets. So you've got the NBA Jam one now sort of coming back, just in a new XL kind of format. You've got Golden Tee coming back in an XL format. Would they consider re-releasing Star Wars? Star Wars was a massive seller for them. If they still have that license and they were to re-release that game, I think people would pick that up. It's probably not for me. I think that version of Star Wars is just too old for me. I have played it. I enjoyed it. I have a version of it on the Commodore 64, which I really enjoyed. But I think I would wait for the Sega Star Wars trilogy rather than that version. So like I say, there's a huge lineup that they have, and I really hope that we get to see it in the UK. I tried reaching out to the likes of Smiths and Game and Liberty and things like that, and I pretty much got the same answer. Who are you? Go away. So Don't look at me for any insider knowledge. I have no idea. No one will talk to me about this. I would love it if they did. I wouldn't be able to keep it in if they told me to keep it secret. I would be shouting it from the rooftops. But I am going to keep my eyes peeled for any of these cabinets making their way to the UK retailers, and when they do, I will make sure that I shout about it. So the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about is these two boyos down here. So the iiRcade 1-Up Juniors. Now they announced these things late last year, and there was a mixed reaction to them. Some people thought, no, this is stupid. Some people thought they were really a cool idea. I was one of the ones that thought it was a very cool idea, and I was going to pick these things up. Now, let me just bring up this one, because I want to see how much they were selling for in the US, because I think they made a mistake with how they're pricing these things. So, originally $300. So, what's that? 200 quid? Give or take? 200 quid. I think that's too much as well. Now, when they first appeared on the UK market, Quirky Store, or the Quirky Shop, I keep calling them store. Sorry about that. Quirky Shop were the first ones to have them listed, and I made a video about it because I thought it was newsworthy. When they both went up originally, they were both priced at £164.99, 165 quid. When I saw that, I thought that's the perfect price point for these machines, because they're plastic built. They are smaller than the regular arcade 1-Ups, and of course they're built for kids. Like the Pac-Man one has an unlimited lives option, and then of course you've got Paw Patrol. That's for it is for kids. Quirky must have made a mistake when they listed it, because the listing quite quickly changed to 300, so 299, and then they started to appear on other retailers' websites as well at 300 pounds as well. This is just pricing themselves out of the market. At £165, I was probably going to pick up both of those machines and put them into my kids' playroom. I thought that was the perfect price point for these machines. People will pick them up as birthday presents, Christmas presents, things like that. They can build upon the range, and it was just right, because they're not expecting big amounts of games on them. The Pac-Man one has 4, I think it is. Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug 1 and 2. Paw Patrol has 3 on it. So we're not expecting the world out of these machines. The big chunky buttons and everything like that is really nice. The wee molded coin door is a great touch. But 300 quid. For an extra 50 quid, I can get the full-sized Pac-Man with 12 games on it. So why am I paying 300 quid for this plastic mold? It doesn't make sense. At 165, yes, that would have made the perfect the perfect present or things like that. £300 has priced themselves out of the market, and they did the same within the US by the looks of it. $300. Why are you asking someone to pay $300? Now there is a bit of a difference, because I can't really check how much the Legacy is going for, because those old ones, well, maybe I can. Let me see. That would be it there. They got hit with a bit of a price point, so there's $449. So there is a bit of a difference between what they pay. So 300 they're adding on another 150 to get the full size ones. 150. So probably an extra £100. Yeah, I know people in the States have complained that, just to say that the price point on this is just too high, and I totally agree, especially when we look at the UK pricing. That's not, those aren't going to sell at 300. Bring them down. I don't even think they would sell at 200. No, I was trying to work out whether I would buy one at 200. I don't think I would. 165 I was all in with. Anything above that, I think it's asking too much. They've priced themselves out of the market, and now they're going to hurt for it, because the only way they're going to shift these things is when they put them on sale. And they will put them on sale because they're taking space up in a warehouse somewhere, and that's going to start to cost them to store these things. They'll eventually want rid of them, and they will put them on sale. But at that stage, Arcade 1UP will have looked at this range as a non-starter. But that's not the fault of the machine itself. It's whoever decided to put them up for this price. And obviously it's not Quirky Shop setting this price. They're probably given, as any product, the recommended retail price, and they can choose what price to put them at. You don't usually go lower than the RRP, because then you start to make a loss, or you don't make the profit that you need to. So they're stuck. They can't go under this without hurting their own bottom line. And it'll get back to Arcade 1UP, the sales figures. They'll look at this and go, well, no one's interested in these. And that's not true. People are interested in them. People just aren't going to pay 300 quid for them. So I think that's where they stand on them. I'll keep my eye out for them. If they do come down in price, then yeah, maybe I will sort of look at picking at least one of them up. But for 300 quid, no, it's not for me. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I've got for tonight. Thanks very much, guys, for joining me. It's been really enjoyable. I hope you find it interesting. I know it's been something I've wanted to do for a wee while. And I hope we can do this again. Find a few more topics, and we can just shoot the shit over some other things. But thank you very much for joining me tonight, and I really hope to do this again real soon. Thanks very much, and I will see you again. Bye for now.